Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An indefinitely short time. A 60th part of a minute of arc. The treasure is 2 minutes and 45 seconds south of here. A particular point in time. Merchandise that has imperfections, usually sold at a reduced price without the brand name. A speech seconding a motion. Do I hear a second? Give support or one's approval to. I'll second that motion. 1/60th of a minute, the basic unit of time adopted under the System A International Unites. Coming next after the first in position in space or time or degree or magnitude. The gear that has the second lowest forward gear ratio in the gearbox of a motor vehicle. He had to shift down into second to make the hill. In the second place. Second, we must consider the economy. The fielding position of the player on a baseball team who is stationed near the second of the bases in the infield. A part or voice or instrument or orchestra section lower in pitch than or subordinate to the first. Second flute. Following the first in an ordering or series. He came in a close second. The official attendant of a contestant in a duel or boxing match. Transfer an employee to a different, temporary assignment. The officer was seconded for duty overseas. An indefinitely short time. In just a bit. A small fragment. A small amount of solid food, a mouthful. All they had left was a bit of bread. A small piece or quantity of something. A bit of paper. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. A bit of rock caught him in the eye. An instance of some kind. He had a bit of good luck. A unit of measurement of information, from binary plus digit, the amount of information in a system having two equiprobable states. There are 8 bits in a byte. Piece of metal held in horse's mouth by reins and used to control the horse while riding. The horse was not accustomed to a bit. The cutting part of a drill, usually pointed and threaded and is replaceable in a brace or bitstock or drill press. He looked around for the right size bit. The part of a key that enters a lock and lifts the tumblers. An indefinitely short time. It only takes a minute. Infinitely or immeasurably small. 2-minute whip-like threads of protoplasm. A particular point in time. A unit of time equal to 60 seconds or 1/60th of an hour. He ran a 4-minute mile. Distance measured by the time taken to cover it. It's just 10 minutes away. Characterized by painstaking care and detailed examination. A minute inspection of the grounds. A unit of angular distance equal to a 60th of a degree. A short note. The secretary keeps the minutes of the meeting. An indefinitely short time. Wait just a moment. A Midwestern state in central United States, a border state during the American Civil War, Missouri was admitted to the Confederacy without actually seceding from the Union. A polyvalent metallic element that resembles chromium and tungsten in its properties, used to strengthen and harden steel. Having important effects or influence. Virtue is of more moment than security. An indefinitely short time. Wait just a moment. A particular point in time. The moment he arrived, the party began. At this time. She is studying at the moment. A turning force produced by an object acting at a distance, or a measure of that force. The nth moment of a distribution is the expected value or the nth power of the deviations from a fixed value. A 60th part of a minute of arc. A very short time, as the time it takes the eye to blink or the heart to beat. A particular point in time. Occurring with no delay. Relief was instantaneous. Demanding attention. An instant need. In or of the present month. Independent in behavior or thought. She led a somewhat irregular private life. Not occurring at a regular rate or fixed intervals. An irregular heartbeat. Merchandise that has imperfections, usually sold at a reduced price without the brand name. Deviating from normal expectations, somewhat odd, strange, or abnormal. Highly irregular behavior. A member of an irregular armed force that fights a stronger force by sabotage and harassment. Lacking continuity or regularity. An irregular worker. Contrary to rule or accepted order or general practice. Irregular hiring practices. Failing to meet a standard of manufacture due to an imperfection. An irregular pair of jeans. Of a surface or shape, not level or flat or symmetrical. Walking was difficult on the irregular cobblestone surface. Used of the military, not belonging to or engaged in by regular army forces. Irregular troops. Of solids, not having clear dimensions that can be measured. Volume must be determined with the principle of liquid displacement. A signature that validates something. The cashier would not cash the check without an endorsement. A speech seconding a motion. The act of endorsing. A star athlete can make a lot of money from endorsements. Formal and explicit approval. A Democrat usually gets the union's endorsement. A promotional statement, as found on the dust jackets of books. A signature that validates something. A speech seconding a motion. The act of endorsing. Formal and explicit approval. A promotional statement, as found on the dust jackets of books. A speech seconding a motion. The detachment of a person from their regular organization for temporary assignment elsewhere. A support that you can lean against while sitting. The back of the dental chair was adjustable. Give support or one's approval to. I can't back this plan. Establish as valid or genuine. Can you back up your claims? The side that goes last or is not normally seen. He wrote the date on the back of the photograph. The protective covering on the front, back, and spine of a book. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. The fall broke his back. The posterior part of a human, or animal, body from the neck to the end of the spine. His back was nicely tanned. in or to or toward a past time. Set the clocks back an hour. Place a bet on. Which horse are you backing? Be behind. Approve of. I backed Kennedy in 1960. Located at or near the back of an animal. Back, or hind, legs. The part of something that is furthest from the normal viewer. He stood at the back of the stage. At or to or toward the back or rear. He moved back. American football. The position of a player on a football team who is stationed behind the line of scrimmage. Be in back of. My garage backs their yard. Cause to travel backward. Back the car into the parking spot. Football. A person who plays in the backfield. Of an earlier date. Back issues of the magazine. Related to or located at the back. The backyard. Shift to a counterclockwise direction. The wind backed. Strengthen by providing with a back or backing. Support financial backing for. Back this enterprise. The part of a garment that covers the back of your body. They pinned a "kick me" sign on his back. Travel backward. Back into the driveway. Give support or one's approval to. Endorse a new project. Guarantee as meeting a certain standard. Sign as evidence of legal transfer. Endorse checks. Be behind. Approve of. Give support or one's approval to. Guarantee as meeting a certain standard. Sign as evidence of legal transfer. Be behind. Approve of. An abundant tasteless odorless multivalent nonmetallic element, best known in yellow crystals, occurs in many sulfide and sulfate minerals and even in native form, especially in volcanic regions. 1/60th of a minute. The basic unit of time adopted under the System A International Dunites. A unit of conductance equal to the reciprocal of an ohm. The cardinal compass point that is at 180 degrees. Thermodynamics. A thermodynamic quantity representing the amount of energy in a system that is no longer available for doing mechanical work. Entropy increases as matter and energy in the universe degrade to an ultimate state of inert uniformity. The 19th letter of the Roman alphabet. 1/60th of a minute. The basic unit of time adopted under the System A International Dunites. Ratio of the hypotenuse to the adjacent side of a right-angled triangle. Of champagne, moderately dry. An independent federal agency that oversees the exchange of securities to protect investors. Coming next after the first in position in space or time or degree or magnitude. Coming next after the first in position in space or time or degree or magnitude. The gear that has the second lowest forward gear ratio in the gearbox of a motor vehicle. In the second place. The fielding position of the player on a baseball team who is stationed near the second of the bases in the infield. The base that must be touched second by a base runner in baseball. The number designating place in an ordered sequence. Being or denoting a numerical order in a series. Ordinal numbers. Of or relating to a taxonomic order. family and ordinal names of animals and plants. A reading of a point in time is given by a clock. Do you know what time it is? Rhythm is given by division into parts of equal duration. An instance or single occasion for some event. This time he succeeded. The period of time a prisoner is imprisoned. He is doing time in the county jail. Measure the time or duration of an event or action or the person who performs an action in a certain period of time. The fourth coordinate that is required, along with 3 spatial dimensions, to specify a physical event. Adjust so that a force is applied and an action occurs at the desired time. The good player times his swing so as to hit the ball squarely. An indefinite period, usually marked by specific attributes or activities. The time of year for planting. A period of time considered as a resource under your control and sufficient to accomplish something. Take time to smell the roses. A person's experience on a particular occasion. He had a time holding back the tears. Assign a time for an activity or event. The candidate carefully timed his appearance at the disaster scene. A suitable moment. It is time to go. Regulate or set the time of. Time the clock. Set the speed, duration, or execution of. We time the process to manufacture our cars very precisely. The continuum of experience in which events pass from the future through the present to the past. He waited for a long time. A unit of measurement for angles. Be oriented. The weather vane points north. Sail close to the wind. Repair the joints of bricks. Point a chimney. Any of 32 horizontal directions indicated on the card of a compass. He checked the point on his compass. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Her behavior points to a severe neurosis. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. A distinct part that can be specified separately in a group of things that could be enumerated on a list. The main point on the agenda was taken up first. An outstanding characteristic. His acting was one of the high points of the movie. A V shape. The cannibal's teeth were filed to sharp points. A contact in the distributor. As the rotor turns, its projecting arm contacts them and current flows to the spark plugs. The dot at the left of a decimal fraction. Direct into a position for use. Point a gun. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. He pointed to the empty parking space. The property of a shape that tapers to a sharp tip. The gun muzzle's direction. He held me up at the point of a gun. A V-shaped mark at one end of an arrow pointer. The point of the arrow was due north. An isolated fact that is considered separately from the whole. A point of information. A wall socket. An instant of time. At that point I had to leave. A very small circular shape. A row of points. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. Give a point to. Intend. something, to move towards a certain goal. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. A brief version of the essential meaning of something. Get to the point. A distinguishing or individuating characteristic. He knows my bad points as well as my good points. A geometric element that has position but no extension. A point is defined by its coordinates. A linear unit used to measure the size of type, approximately 1/72 inch. A promontory extending out into a large body of water. They sailed south around the point. A style in speech or writing that arrests attention and has a penetrating or convincing quality or effect. Be positionable in a specified manner. The gun points with ease. Indicate the presence of game by standing and pointing with the muzzle. The dog pointed the dead duck. Mark, a psalm text, to indicate the points at which the music changes. Mark, Hebrew words, with diacritics. Mark with diacritics. Point the letter. 1% of the total principal of a loan. It is paid at the time the loan is made and is independent of the interest on the loan. Sharp end. He stuck the point of the knife into a tree. The object of an activity. What is the point of discussing it? The precise location of something, a spatially limited location. She walked to a point where she could survey the whole street. The unit of counting in scoring a game or contest. He scored 20 points in the first half. An instant of time. The set of elements common to two or more sets. An artifact that has been created by someone or some process. They improve their product every year. Commodities offered for sale. That store offers a variety of products. A quantity obtained by multiplication. The product of 2 and 3 is 6. A chemical substance formed as a result of a chemical reaction. A product of lime and nitric acid. A consequence of someone's efforts or of a particular set of circumstances. Skill is the product of hours of practice. Spend extravagantly. Commodities offered for sale. Articles of the same kind or material, usually used in combination, silverware, software. Engage in the trade of. Commodities offered for sale. Good business depends on having good merchandise. The statement, oral or written, of an exchange of promises. They had an agreement that they would not interfere in each other's business. Compatibility of observations. There was no agreement between theory and measurement. The thing arranged or agreed to. Harmony of people's opinions or actions or characters. The two parties were in agreement. The determination of grammatical inflection on the basis of word relations. The verbal act of agreeing. Financial resources provided to make some project possible. The foundation provided support for the experiment. Argue or speak in defense of. She supported the motion to strike. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. A military operation, often involving new supplies of men and materiel, to strengthen a military force or aid in the performance of its mission. They called for artillery support. Be the physical support of, carry the weight of. He supported me with one hand while I balanced on the beam. Adopt as a belief. The financial means whereby one lives. He applied to the state for support. A musical part, vocal or instrumental, that supports or provides background for other musical parts. The act of bearing the weight of or strengthening. He leaned against the wall for support. Be a regular customer or client of. Documentary validation. The strongest support for this view is the work of Jones. Establish or strengthen as with new evidence or facts. The evidence supports the defendant. Be behind. Approve of. Support with evidence or authority or make more certain or confirm. Give moral or psychological support, aid, or courage to. She supported him during the illness. Aiding the cause or policy or interests of. The president no longer has the support of his own party. Any device that bears the weight of another thing. There was no place to attach supports for a shelf. Play a subordinate role to another performer. Olivier supported Gielgud beautifully in the second act. Something providing immaterial assistance to a person or cause or interest. The policy found little public support. Supporting structure that holds up or provides a foundation. The statue stood on a marble support. Support materially or financially. He does not support his natural children. The activity of providing for or maintaining by supplying with money or necessities. His support kept the family together.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.